Alright, what's up ladies and gentlemen? How are you doing today? I am Is There No One Else? I'm bringing you another build video. This one is going to be for my Magicka Nightblade. Now, I haven't come out with a Magicka Nightblade build in a while. I had a couple gank builds. They kind of nerfed that a little bit. People aren't farming stones as much. It's not as much fun for me to gank topside as it is when stones are on the line, and when stones aren't on the line, I don't really care to gank. So that was probably the last one that came out. My other setup that I run that's similar to this, the staff build, it's still very viable. That one uses a lot more impen. You're a little bit more tanky. Sustainability is really good. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the Nightblade and then why we're making it this way. In general, Magicka Nightblade staff builds are, they're not the easiest thing in the world to play, especially in open world PvP. You have to really utilize your shadow image. You have to be stealthy. You have to know how to maneuver around and pick the right fights. And oftentimes people resort to gankers or bombers with Nightblades because it's easier to play. You Destral, you come in with proxy plus. I mean, you get a shit ton of AP when you're proxy Destral bombing. So this isn't going to be that. This is going to be more of a small scale build. This can be used in open world PvP. I was playing it a little bit earlier today. I was very surprised at the results. In general, I don't like bringing my Magicka Nightblade topside because it's just really hard to play. I'd rather play it in the sewers. Sewers it just thrives there. So I made this for that. But it did well topside. It did really well in the sewers. Plays really well. Hits hard. Yeah. So we're going to dive into the gear really quick. We're going to dive into the skills, the CP, all that, and then like I always do, we're going to explain why we're running what we're running, why I made the choices that I made, other options, etc. So let's dive into it. We are running 5 Twiceborn Star. We're running Nirnhoned. I do not have. We're running a Nirnhoned staff on the front bar. We're running an infused resto staff on the back bar with the spell damage enchant. This class plays very similarly, or this style plays very similarly to a Sork. So if you're used to light attacking on your back bar, to put your wards up, to hit entropy, to use your other skills, this works out really well. This is just a huge buff. It's basically like a clever alchemist proc almost. Infused resto on the back bar is really the way to go for staff builds in general. We are then also running 5 Necropotents, 3 jewelry, 2 recovery, 1 spell damage, and then 2 body pieces, preferably divines. I have 1 infused, I have 1 divines. I'm going to go get the other divine piece. I just wanted to throw this together. I didn't want to invest until I knew that this was going to be good, so yes, I'm going to go invest. Twiceborn Star of the body. We're running heavy chest. We are running a medium shoulder. Because I don't have a light Domi House. We want to run Domi House with this build because it gives us the most bang for our buck. The stamina and magicka is just very useful. Like I said, and then the rest, we're running a 5 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy setup. As far as the skills go, I guess we're going to go into the CP tree first before we go to skills. 51 into Warlord, 60 into Arcanist, 32 into Tenacity, 9 into Shadow Ward, 37 in tumbling, 31 into shade. We will be utilizing stealth to get around to maneuver ourselves. So having some points into shade is very useful. 34 into Elfborn, 49 elemental expert, 25 spell erosion, 56 master at arms, and then a couple into staff expert, 48 into thaumaturge. We do have a couple dots. Entropy's a dot. When we drop our meteor, it has a damage over time effect with it as well. Thaumaturge does help quite a bit. So 29 to resistant, 61 in ironclad, 32 hardy, 32 elemental defender, 18 thick skin, 48 in a bastion. As far as our skills go, this is our resto bar. We are running healing ward. This is how we're going to stay alive. Crippling grasp, very strong dot. You can see what the tooltip is unbuffed. Fully buffed, I think it goes up to 20,000. Let me look. 17. Okay, so 17,000 dots, harness magicka, fully buffed. I'm pretty sure this is a 10,000 damage shield. We are using necropotents, so if If we look at it, 20,000 damage shield outside of PvP. In PvP, it's going to be a little over 10,000. Very, very tanky. We're using Shadow Image. Degeneration. Degeneration gives you heals with your light and heavy attacks. 15% chance to heal you for 118% of the damage caused. We do hit very hard. This is going to heal us quite a bit when this goes off. So this is very useful to have, Degeneration. And then I'm using Life Giver right now. I'm going back and forth between the two. I like the other one more. I wanted to test this. This is okay. I kind of like the idea to activate all these because Steadfast Ward, Blessing and Protection, and Regeneration, they can all kind of go to everybody. So, or it doesn't have to just be one person. So it's kind of neat. So I was testing that out. Skills on our front bar. This is going to be the filler. I'm running Impale right now. I've been playing it today. Impale just doesn't seem to be working very well for me. Sometimes I hit people 9 to 12k executes, and then other times I'm hitting 1k executes, and it's just it's been really frustrating. I don't think you need an execute with this build, so if you're not going to run Impale, I'd run Inner Light here. That'll give you 5% more max magic. That'll give you more crit. It'll make you a little bit more bursty. You don't need it. It's kind of preference, but that's probably how I would do it. Merciless Resolve. This is just very hard-hitting skill, 5 light or heavy attacks. With this type of build, you'll be light attacking in between each individual move you do. This will proc all the time. Unbuffed, 18,000 magic damage if we fully buffed, and last time I didn't buff before. We look at this, and it is a 25,500 Spectral Bow. Very, very hard-hitting. Shadowy Disguise, Mass Hysteria, and Swallow Soul. Swallow Soul fully buffed goes over 10,000. Our Meteor fully buffed goes over 20,000. Yeah. Nightblades in general. How most Nightblades do kill people in PvP is high amounts of burst damage. And I hadn't come out with a build for a while because I really liked my impen setup where I was running Amber Plasm and what's the name of that set? Either Amber Plasm and Julianos or Amber Plasm and I'm looking for it, guys. Rattle Cage. So I liked those, but I liked the impen because you can't guarantee that your wards are going to be up all the time, and so that made me a little bit more tanky. My damage wasn't as good, but my sustain was awesome. I was able to kill people. I just said fuck it to critical resist. I'm just going to try and hit people as hard as possible and see how I do. And honestly, guys, might as well go to the stats. If we look at our character sheet, these are our stats fully buffed. We have 51,000 magicka. We will have 20,000 health in PvP, 15,000 stamina, 2,000 magicka recovery, 2,900 spell damage fully buffed. Without the proc on the back bar, it's 2,400, 35% spell crit. Yeah, very, very hard hitting. We got 64 points in the magicka. I am a dark elf. High elf works. Breton works. That's all preference. We are a vampire. We are running Ghastly Eyeball again because we're using Twice Born Star. Because we're running Domi House, we do not need to run Potent Witch Mothers or Tri-Stat Food. This gives us the most max magic and recovery that we can get. This bumps our sustain quite a bit. We're running the Mage Mundus Stone. We're running the Apprentice Mundus Stone for as much damage as possible. And yeah, so those are our stats. As far as pieces go, we're running magic enchants on everything. Prismatics on the chest and legs to get our health to 20k. Now, I know people are going to ask, because I got the same thing on my Sork video. People are saying, your crit resist is way too low, your resistances are way too low, there's no way you're going to be able to survive. In a 5 light setup, you rely on your wards way more than you rely on your impen or your resistances. They do come in handy. You guys are absolutely right, they do come in handy. They are very useful. So I'm not knocking it. Like I said, I was running an impen setup for a long time. I just wanted to try this out. This is very good. And the reason this is good is because of how much magicka we have. We have 51,000 max magicka. This makes our wards very big. This makes us very tanky. This is probably the tankiest I've ever been on my Nightblade, and why I'm really comfortable playing topside. Like I got stuck and I was tanking 5 people up top for a good minute, and no, I didn't kill them, but they had a very hard time killing me, and that was because of the amount of max magic I had. I was able to shadow image away, but then the talons came with me. Long story short, it was not very fun, but it does hit hard. And in general, guys, like if you're not good with your wards, if you're not good with keeping your wards up, it's gonna be hard for you to survive in a 5-leg setup anyways. You know, unless you're a Templar. Templars have Breath of Life. That's different. You know, like they can just pop back to full. But if you're a player wearing light armor, you either need to block cast a lot or you need to be diligent with your wards. If you're diligent with your wards, this setup is very, very tanky, and it hits hard. And hitting hard is fun. What else was I going to say? Now, you could put another enchant on the bar. In general, with a Nightblade, in my opinion, you don't want to drop to too low a health, or too low a damage, because Nightblades really do rely on burst, and if you don't have that burst, you're just not going to be able to finish people. You got to put people on the defensive. You really have to apply pressure, and this allows you to apply the most pressure, from what I've found, especially compared to my old setup. Now, what else was I going to say? So a typical fight for you guys, if you use a setup like this, it doesn't have to be this setup, but when you use a staff build, you want to try and get your shadow image down right away, because this is going to proc your necropotence. This is going to make your shields bigger. This is going to make your damage better. But the other thing that this thing does is whatever it attacks gives you minor maim. And so because we are squishier because we're not wearing impen, this provides minor maim, so it's 15% less damage. Our fear also provides minor maim, mass hysteria. So reducing their damage done by 15%, looks like for probably about 4 seconds. So in a fight, 4 out of 6 seconds, we can have minor maim. With this also gives minor maim. So that is a huge damage reduction. And so it's a damage reduction, it gives us more magicka, it gives us more damage. So it just makes us tankier overall. So you always want to try and get this down right away. So you come into the fight, you drop your shadow image, you proc your entropy. Oh, my bad. So you want to proc your entropy, and then you want to hit with your cripple. And then you go to your front bar, you want to make sure that your merciless is set up, and then you just start light attack weaving. And then, when you get your CC in, if they drop to low health, then you execute. The best way to burst somebody with this type of build, I'm going to wait for, hold on. Alright, so we're just going to proc our spectral bow really quick. So we're going to light attack, entropy, meteor, spectral bow, execute. And so if you can really time that and you can really work on that entire thing, that is just so much pressure for one person to deal with. And obviously, like, I'm doing this against a dummy, this isn't in a fight. If you light attack entropy and then you light attack cripple, you switch to your other bar, you light attack swallow soul, light attack swallow soul, you proc your spectral bow, and then you drop your meteor. Once you proc it, you drop your meteor, you fear, and then you hit your spectral. That's how you're going to use it. Here, let's see if I'll do it one more time for you guys. But yeah, so the pros of this setup is you hit very hard, you have very good magicka recovery, you have good sustain, and you're very tanky. The cons of this compared to my other setup is no, you don't run impen, so if you are caught with your shields down, like if you forget to put your shadow image down, and you don't have the minor maim buff, you can get hit hard. I haven't had anything nuke me yet today, but that's not saying that it can't happen. So we're going to buff up, and then when we proc the spectral bow, we're going to go in. So we proc it, go in, meteor, fear, and then if you guys saw that basically all goes off at the same time. So if you time it right, they're going to eat the initial burst of the meteor. I've hit somebody today. I'm hitting anywhere from 10 to 16k meteors right now, unblocked, and you can make sure it's unblocked with fear. So unblocked meteor, it hits very hard. On top of that, you hit it with the spectral bow. That's going to be a lot more burst, and at that point, they're in execute range, and they're, most people aren't surviving that. Only the tankiest people are going to be able to survive. Like a really tanky, healing Magicka Templar can survive it. Magicka DK can survive it. Just about everybody else, not so much. It's going to be very difficult if you time it right. So I think that's it, guys. I hope I provided my explanation well. We are this is very tanky. It is a lot of fun to play. It's not a ganking setup. It's just a very hard-hitting Magicka Nightblade setup. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please provide it in the section below. Thank you. Have a nice day.